Earthlings, welcome to Too Many Shows, a TV podcast. I am your host, Benjamin David. We are both live on our YouTube channel, B David Studios, and you can also find the pod wherever you listen to podcasts. So subscribe, follow there if you haven't for the audio. On that note, smash that like button, hit subscribe, turn on notifications for future streams of Too Many Shows. Also, any kind of super donations here on the stream or on any of our videos, is much appreciated. We're continuing the pods and the streams here with Alien Earth, the newest installment to the Alien franchise. They have arrived on Earth. Today, I'm going to be reviewing episode 5 of A Earth, titled In Space, No One, Ellipses. If you know Alien, very clever. And as I mentioned on the pod, we're also going to be going live right here on YouTube for the rest of Alien Earth Season 1, episode by episode. So if you want to catch the show live, you're in the right place. We'll be going live every Wednesday, 3 p.m. EST. And thank you for your patience today. I'm still getting used to the live setup, but thank you for your patience. And finally, if you like the show and you want to support us and all the other shows on our network, then head on over to Patreon. That's patreon.com/BatmanBeyondMedia. Join the community here at Wayland-Yutani, here at Prodigy. You guys get early access to podcasts, detailed episode notes for each pod, and a ton of exclusive vids and pods that you can only find there. Again, that's only at the the $1 level. And again, that's patreon.com/BatmanBeyondMedia. All right, so let's do it. Oh, and if I haven't said, drop any comments, whatever you got in chat. Happy to have you guys. All right, so let's do it. My review of Alien Earth, episode 5. All right, so some IMDb credits. I'm just trying to take a deep breath before this one, baby. Wow. So some IMDb credits, and then we have our non-spoiler initial thoughts, and then, of course, spoiler walkthrough after that. Episode 5 is once again titled In Space, No One, Ellipses. Script is by Noah Hawley, our showrunner, also directed by Noah Hawley. Cast is Babu Sise as Morrow the Cyborg, and this is really Morrow's episode, so this guy can act, that's for sure, and for sure the best part of this episode. Then we have Richa Morjani, who plays acting Captain Zaveri, and she was in Fargo Season 5. I talked about her before. She was our first Xeno kill, I believe, from the AE pilot, and yeah, she was good in Fargo Season 5. That was one of my least favorite seasons, but second least favorite, I'd say, but, you know, she did a good job, I thought. Jamie Bisping is Malachite. I mean, she did a good job on Fargo Season 5. I can't even say how she did in this because, my God, we'll get to it. Jamie Bisping is Malachite. And then, I think I have the name wrong. Andy Yu. I put Annie. I miswrote that. Andy Yu probably is Mr. Tang. And then Tom Moya is Clem. Chlamydia, as Morrow tells us. A brief synopsis from IMDb. An unexpected connection is formed while... That's the wrong, here we go. An outer space vessel in peril leads to a dangerous reckoning. There it is. An outer space vessel in peril leads to a dangerous reckoning. This is the drawbacks of going live. You have your templates sometimes get in your way. So a spoiler walkthrough. Before we get to that, again, we always have our spoiler walkthrough. I should say our non-spoiler initial thoughts. So this episode, I was in first 3 episodes. I continue to recommend it through that. Again, it's hard to recommend shows because you kind of want to watch the whole story. But as I said last episode, if you can skip episodes and you just want to previously on, I mean, maybe this one has enough alien action in it. To me, the biggest problem is the lack of containment. The word quarantine, there's your highlight of the whole episode. There's your one word, that's the first time I even learned that word was from Alien, I think. Meaning during COVID, every time I heard someone say quarantine, I just kept thinking alien, alien, alien. They are so careful, my point here, with quarantine. In this show, they are eating sandwiches. They are smoking cigarettes. They're doing they smoked in the first movies and stuff, but the lack complete of, you are xenobiologists, xeno doctors, all the xeno shit. None of you are taking the precautions they took 2 years after this. And then again, it's 2 years after this, we're supposed to be with a crew that's never heard that any of this happened. So it's not even maybe by the end, you haven't seen the whole season, and maybe they start getting better with alien containment. No, They don't. And it's an alien show. So for me, it's not even like, oh, I'm picking this apart too much. It's an alien show. Like, to mess that up, I don't understand that. And just also how dumb the characters are. Not even that aside, it's like, okay, well, let's make them dumb when it comes to containment. Sci-fi aside, there's lines from characters. One guy is an apprentice, and he's like, I don't even know what apprentice means, but I am an apprentice. You don't know what the... Like, I'm not expecting you to be you work in engineering. You don't have to be a genius. But this guy is like special ed over here. I don't know what's going on. So, yeah, I'm not a big fan, I gotta say. And following up, I think I said, if I didn't finish my thought, episodes 1 through 3, I was kind of in/recommending it. 4, I was not. That's what I said, if you could skip through that one. And I feel the same about this. It's like, you're just not honoring. And then last episode, there's so little alien stuff. That felt, the more I think about it, and other people have said this too, it feels more like a Blade Runner show. That's like a bad Blade Runner show. This is like all the bad sci-fi and lack of attention to detail. Because if it's science fiction, the science needs to make some sense. Like, holy crap. This is hard science. Again, quarantine, believable, truckers in space, shares, the economy. This is dark. This isn't like... You got to explain this stuff, and it has to make sense within this world. And these people are just casually on a ship full of alien specimens. And the last thing I'll say before spoiler walkthrough, it's like, you're also supposed to feel bad for them. Yes, it's a prequel episode. And it's cool. I will say also, I should have mentioned, this is a ship bottle episode. So it's a bottle episode because the whole thing is on this, spoilers, on the ship in space, completely away from our normal cast. There's only one cast member that we even see from our normal show, which I thought was cool. That's like the time that you have with a series. I keep saying that. I like that they're taking advantage in a lot of good ways, I think, of this. It's just... the particulars are way too, like, Noah Hawley should not do science fiction. I think Fargo is, but, anyway, this ship bottle episode situation, I like the concept of it. I love Morrow. Again, easily the best part. And he is, like, for sure the emotional core of this whole thing. This should be the show. Is the last thing I'll say before spoilers. All right, so begins our beat-by-beat spoiler walkthrough of episode 5, In Space, No One Ellipses. We open in space, no one ellipses. Not as previously on as last time. So this, it's a bunch of shots of the ship inside and out, meaning we were getting those like previously on AE Alien Earth title sequences. And I thought that was actually a pretty creative thing. Like, I'd never seen a show do that. I heard people on podcasts talk about that too. They're like, yeah, I've never seen a show do that. I like that. I could take more of that. It's just less of almost everything else on this episode. So a bunch of shots of the ship inside and out. People are waking up in their cryopods, eating in the mess hall. Also, and I guess that's where it is previously on-ish. So I shouldn't say that. It's just, it wasn't kind of delivered in as direct a way. It wasn't with the flashes is what I'm saying. And then, but it's just these excessive hallway shots of aliens spinning emergency lights. Like the alien branded, when you see those emergency lights spinning, you're like, okay, I get it. I don't need it. It's just, we're in an alien show. Thank you. It's just so much of that, way too much of that throughout the whole episode. So we get our mother text, which I do love, I gotta say. On a series to get mother telling us what's going on. Very cool. 17 days from Earth. Clem wakes up Morrow from cryo. Chlamydia wakes up Morrow from cryo. Interesting, the cyborg needs cryo, unlike synth. So yeah, I was like, huh. That makes sense, right? Because he's a human then with robotic upgrades, whereas synths don't need cryo sleep. So that's just a cool detail. Clem's reporting all the things that went wrong while he was sleeping. He's like, there was a fire, some aliens got out. Also, he launches right into Zaveri being with the captain. Zaveri's been banging the captain. You're like, okay, like this is the first thing on your mind out the pod. Cool. As if that's pertinent, Anyway, he seems alarmed, but like not nearly alarmed enough. And that's a theme throughout all this. It's like, you people are way too cash about all this. But we'll soon, like I said, we'll soon learn, and I can't talk today, no one on the ship cares much about alien containment at all. So it kind of fits with his casual approach, even though he's a security guy, Clem. So it's a security guy waking up. If you remember, Morrow's the head security officer. Anyway, so Med Lab, Morrow arrives in his cryo underwear, still hasn't gotten dressed. We see the captain and another character have face huggers on their faces. So we have two characters like on the beds in the Med Lab. The character of Rahim, who also barely seems alarmed. He's probably, I think, smoking a cigarette in this part. He's definitely smoking a cigarette and drinking. No, he's drinking. That's what he's doing later on in the episode. Drinking right next to an open chest cavity surgery with alien ticks. So cool, bro. So he's showing Morrow. Rahim is showing Morrow that he tried to remove the face hugger, but the acid blood subsequently melted the captain's neck. So there's I will give him this. Like, the gore on the show is pretty nice. Not that we get enough of it. Not that we get, we don't get enough of it. But anyway, no one is even wearing a mask. And here, once again, quarantine, quarantine, quarantine. That's why I said one word theme of like, what the hell is going on here? Like, no one's even wearing a mask, let alone suited up. Sealing off rooms, like nothing right here. It's like a minute into the episode. Alien Earth characters with zero alien precaution. We talked about this for episode 3 on the pilot episode, I'm pretty sure. It's like this dude the billionaire boy cavalier puts his face near an open alien egg and that's our way of getting the exposition from Kirsch. So he's like, you can't be near it. Organics can't be near it. People can't be near it. Like you. You're like, yeah, well, as good as that delivery was from Olyphant, love me some Olyphant. Love me Kirsch. It's like, how does the trillionaire, who's so smart and calls himself the boy genius. It's like, oh my God. They report about the fire, but then still no one knows who caused it. Like, no one's kind of worried about what caused it, who caused it, and then more about just not worrying about stuff. Morrow's the only adult in the room. Like, even on this ship of adults, we got Kirsch is the only adult on this Neverland island on Earth. And then we have Morrow is just the only adult in space, even though we have a bunch of adults. And I can't take it. And again, they made everybody stupid, the hybrids stupid, who should be the most intelligent, really, because they have synthetic power. And then meanwhile, it's like, okay, they're idiots. Now we have human organic adults. Everyone's an idiot on the show except Morrow and Kirsch. That is the theme. So he asks a simple question. Morrow's like, why were the egg crates open? Because obviously if you have xenomorph, if you have face huggers about, it's like, well, then who's opening the egg crates? What's going on there? And she's like, that's not a priority question. Actually, the priority is the guy I was sleeping with, who has a face hugger on him right now. And it's like, bro, no, it's not. Then speaking of protocol, here's a line that breaks the brain. This is from Chiboza, I think is her name is. She's the xenobiologist, Chibozu. Any crew member who comes into contact with alien life forms are to be placed in cryosleep for the remainder of the journey. In cryosleep? How about, first of all, it's airlock, jettison into space, never to be seen again. That should be the first thing. Okay, it's Weiyu's, because this is where it does make sense, and I know where they're coming from here, is that Weiyu would say, Weyland Yutani would say, we want to preserve, don't kill the aliens. But it's also, it wouldn't just be cryo. It would be secure them. Because if it gets out and gets everyone else on the ship, that also isn't even in the interest, like, it's not in the interest of Weiyu for a xenomorph to be wreaking havoc on a ship. It's one thing to get someone maybe infected, but it's not, I guess that's stupid. That is the plot of the first Alien, so maybe it is in their interest. I just mean there is a better way, like there's a less sloppy way, I think, to infect a human and still have all their aliens speak. Like, I mean, really, is there, I guess what I'm saying is Weiyu's mission in this particular mission, right? This, I forget the name of their ship. It's obviously not the Nostromo, but in this particular mission, yes, it's to preserve all the aliens when they come out, all the specimens when they come back. But it's also not, it didn't seem as haphazard, I guess is what I'm saying, as like, in Alien 1 when they were just like, all right, yeah, one person can get infected, and that, like, if they get infected, cool. If not, also cool. But I don't know. This just seems like a more organized, even though that was a way better movie, obviously, way better science fiction. My point is, this mission, it doesn't seem to match how organized this mission is to just be like, oh yeah, we can have xenomorphs just running around. That's my point. So anyway, Morrow runs into our two engineers in the hallway. They seem intelligent too, I guess the older one, because definitely not the younger one, which we'll get to. And I said before, because they just suggest putting them, again, into airlock and be done with it. Because that's obviously the smartest thing to do. But Wei-Yu, yeah, I guess doesn't want that. And then he's like, oh, she didn't tell you. He's like, what she didn't tell you is that we're a spaceship and not, we're not a spaceship anymore. Now we're a missile heading toward Earth. And it's like, why did she not tell Morrow that? Why on earth would she not tell Morrow about the engineering problem is my point. Like, there's a giant, he knows about the fire, but he doesn't know that there's this huge engineering problem that turns their spaceship into a missile. There's no reason she would not tell the security officer that information. And I guess this goes back to later when Morrow, like, is that supposed to confirm to us, the audience, that what Morrow said later in the episode when he's like, you're distracted, you're compromised. It's like, get out of here with this. So then we're in the zoo, they called it. I call it the alien, quote, containment lab. Although the alien containment room apparently is a different one. But as I was writing this, I didn't know the words. Anyway, this is the zoo, but it's containment in quotes no matter what it is. Because they don't contain shit. They don't care. It's incidental to... I mean, maybe the joke is really just Weyland-Yutani was like, all right, let's get the stupidest group of xenobiologists ever so that they won't protect themselves, take no precautions, and then they'll all get infected. Like, maybe that is the whole plan here. It's just aliens unleashed on a ship. Let them kill themselves. Anyway, Clem says, let me sweep the place first. And he picks up a stool. Like it's a mouse running around your kitchen. A stool. The show. He's like, I got a stool in case an alien runs up on me. Oh, God. And these are the people studying the creatures. These aren't some, like, passerbys. This would be a plot of, like, people on Earth who somehow stumbled upon some alien lab and they didn't know it was an alien lab. These are the alien lab workers. So the panel lights are, she's like, the panel lights are green. If containment was broken, they'd be red. Okay. Like, why do you sound so dumb when you say that? And is that supposed to... God. And if there is some kind of delivery... If there is some kind of warning system is what I'm trying to say for these... When an alien breaks out, where was that when they start breaking out later? There's no sound that goes off. There's no, hey, an alien is on your ship now. They just break out while you're eating a sandwich and all. Okay. And I'm glad she knows her colors, though. That seems to be the extent of the xenobiologist's intelligence. She knows her colors. This show's theme, again, everyone's dumb except Kirsha Morrow. How can I possibly, and this is what I was saying before, how can I possibly feel bad for these people? It's a terrible thing to say, but like, you feel bad for every single maybe not every single person, because people with maybe some worse intentions than others, but you at least feel for most of the people, I'm saying, on the crew of the Nostromo, right? You feel for them. Aliens, you have a little kid, even the Marines, they are terrified. These are the toughest Marines in the galaxy, and they are terrified of this thing. That's what we're dealing with. And instead, these people are just smug, walking around. And I don't want to hear the whole thing of, like, oh, well, this is a prequel, so they don't know the threat of the... They're xenobiologists. And also, not knowing the threat, there is your answer. The lack of knowledge that they have is the biggest threat ever. They have no idea what these things are, hence xeno. Like, get out of here with this. And maybe real quick, it's like, why is there this much testing and interaction? I guess it's 65 years. Yeah, you're not gonna. So that makes sense. What I was thinking was like, why don't they just completely contain these things, bring them to Earth, and don't let anything out of containment? But it's 65 years. You have xenobiologists. You might as well maximize your time. Maybe that's the corporate greed. Oh my God. But that does kind of also make sense. Anyway, we see a face hugger in a tank. Formaldehyde tank, and a bunch of other species behind glass. In the cockpit, Morrow and Severi, So again, Zaveri is the now acting captain. Morrow immediately suspects sabotage. He's like, a random fire breaking out in an empty containment room in the exec panel that controls both navigation and speed. Bullshit. I love his accent. I think he's from Guyana. I love it. It's this actor's so good. Like, he's in a different show, son. He is in a different show. So good. And his stuff is so good. Oh, man. Morrow. Morrow insists we need to start an official inquiry into the sabotage. And she's like, look, I'm not starting more alarms than we need right now. Let's just look into what's going on. We don't know anything yet, is what she's saying. And then right away, he just calls her out. He's like, you've been fucking Bronsky. Reciting that it's... Then he recites that it's forbidden by company policy. Like, Weiyu's like, no, you can't be fraternizing on board. And he's like, he calls her out. And she admits it. She's like, how'd you know? How'd you know? He's the security cyborg. You are the acting captain. Right now, you are the captain of the ship. And you just asked how he knows that. You're on camera. Like, and you weren't safer about it? I don't understand. Like, and your quarters would have been less conspicuous, probably. Ugh. I mean, maybe no, because then they'll see you going in and out. I don't know what, but this is just... So she admits it. Morrow says the classic alien line, whether or not the crew survives. So he's like, not you, not me, not the fucking captain matters in comparison to our Xeno species on board. Then we're in the cryo sleep room. Somehow, again, they've placed the captain in cryo with a face hugger on his face. Maybe this is something I should let go. One of those, frozen moments. And I should just sing Let It Go because, in cryo. Then Raheem, not even a separate room. Like, I could see him getting infected. Just put it in its own room. Then the Xeno will grow up in a room by itself, contained, not taking out a whole ship, acid blood. There just seems like a lot of liability. Anyway, then Raheem starts, this is painful. Raheem starts philosophizing about the stupidity of man while cryotubing a facehugger victim. Like, I just, it's beyond me. Look, you have a character questioning. Because look, if they didn't question their jobs and they're like, this is what I'm doing for money, the shares, you could kind of always have that scapegoat economically, right? They have to do it for money, blah, blah, blah. Especially in this, what they've set up in this Blade Runner-esque dystopia of Alien. And it's like, all right, but he's questioning all this, the grand scheme of the stupidity of man. For any character on the show except for Morrow and Kirsch to say the word stupid is amazing, astounding. More annoying exposition about the basics of this journey from Raheem to Clem. He's like, look, we're bringing alien specimens. It's a 65-year... It's like the most pedantic, unnecessary... And also, we've heard all this before. Like, there's nothing... I don't see what that dialogue helped at all, but okay. Tang the pervert... Tang the pervert is perving on one of the... which is not funny, but it's uncomfortable. On one of the females in cryo. And he's like... And this, too. It's like, I guess we're supposed to also care for this guy who gets it later. Like, what? And you barely put him in any kind of position where... you don't even see the kill, first of all. Give us that satisfaction. I guess you do maybe see him get, like, ramrodded or whatever. I mean, you also see him get gooed from above, but it's not even acid. I don't know. It's like, of all the people to watch get taken out, the worst. Alien, quote, containment. Here we go, cargo room. And again, this was separate from the zoo from before. Morrow's looking at the different aliens while smoking a cigar. And this is the Morrow moment where you're like, bro, you just opened a tank. I'm pretty sure you had one of them open. If they are contained, maybe I missed that, so don't quote me, but come on, dude. The cigar smoking. Yeah, I mean, clearly the whole point of the cigar smoking was a filmic. They needed a little film thing to show us how the acid through the floor. But even, meaning like he hovers over the acid holes in the floors, plural, that goes down, and he's like, and he throws the cigar down the hole. And it's just, you could tell they were like, "Ooh, I want a nice shot of the cigar, and that'll be a good visual way to." That's your way of getting there. Again, I don't mind people. That goes back to the 70s, 80s of Alien. I don't mind people smoking on board. It's just, this is not the time and the place to have this character smoking cigars like Tony Soprano. Didn't like it. Then we're in our Disney ride security computer room. So an office chair is on these roller coaster tracks that go along all these monitors. I kind of like this. I mean, it's a pretty cool way to recap what happened too. The CCTV and then CCTV of the fire and then the subsequent face hugger attacks. So it was a cool way to recap. I'll give them that. Like, this podcaster will give them that. I'm sure they're very honored to have my approval here. I like the light up white buttons on the arms of the chairs. That was cool. Loved it. Felt very Blade Runner as well. That felt like the machine in the, God, it's been that long since I watched Blade Runner. I pride myself on my Blade Runner knowledge here. Anyway, the machine where they analyze people to determine whether or not they're replicants, it reminded me of all that analog shit. What's it called? Morrow looks closer at one of the monitors and he's like, "Who are you?" So he's figured out at least the saboteur, but hasn't seen him. What I don't get, it's 2120. Yes, there's always like, look, my background is surrounded by a 1979 computer, so I get that, but still, like, you could have zoom technology. You could write that into it. Point is, it's like, what is the point of these cameras if you can't zoom in and identify your saboteur? Okay, fine. Late 70s, sure. Cryo room. This is intercut, with Mara watching basically space porn on CCTV. And this is, let's say, sonically graphic. I'll leave it at that. I was actually it was like, wow, that's bold. It's not often you kind of hear particular things in those settings and in those types of scenes. So I was like, all right, FX. I did like the Zaveri burial powder stuff. So like she pours this powder on the cryo tube, and I don't know if that's an Indian, because I believe the actress is from India IRL in real life, or if it's native, because she plays a Native American in Fargo season 5, and they often always have a Native character on each season, and in the movie, of course. And I don't know, like I thought that was cool. It was just a cool detail of Earth tradition meets space, especially on a show called Alien Earth. Cool flash shot of the face hugger, like right after they were doing their thing. There's like a quick, and there wasn't a face hugger on him at that time. I just thought it was like a fun way to get her flashbacks with the CCTV, and then there's a face hugger. I was like, whoa. We see the face hugger tighten its neck grip on Bronsky. The thing is still alive, you say? But I thought they cryoed it. Oh my god. A xenomorph surviving that, you say. Engine room. Malachite the Younger is, again, nothing wrong with it. He's officially retarded. Like, doesn't know the difference between biology and geology. That's a line. Like, and then he goes, "Are you sure? How do you know all this? Look, I'm not saying he needs to be brilliant, but to make him like not know the difference between biology and geology, and he is an apprentice on a spaceship. I don't care how blue collar of a world you're supposed to be depicting here. No, like, come on." And there's also worse things that come after this of him not knowing things. He also, and then after that, he used the word, he's like, "I'm not hesitating, I'm overambulating." I'm like, overambulating? Is that, I barely know that word. So he knows that word. I don't get it. Enter Morrow into the engine room, who says the fire starter, so our saboteur, is getting around the hallways. Or is getting around without the hallways, and he needs blueprints, which is pretty cool. That's a pretty alien thing too. And so he's in engineering to find, again, blueprints of all the vents and stuff that are not hallways to find the guy. He then reminds the special ed student that he needs to keep his mouth shut. He's like, "Wait, so there's a saboteur?" He's like, You keep your mind. It reminds him of his Wayland Yutani corporate, corporate responsibility of keeping all this contained. Excuse me. Mess hall. Morrow finally starts physically threatening people. He's like, "Was it you?" Going up to the ridiculous, what is his name? Chlamydia. Security guy. What am I supposed to say? Security number 2 officer, I guess, his helper. It's just so satisfying because that guy again was so casual. I'm like, you're a security officer and you're waking this guy up like this stuff is not that important to you. So okay, cool. Well, and just for one security officer to pull out his cyborg knife out of his arm, he's like, "Was it you?" Great moment. But this satisfies me for the wrong reasons. That's the problem. I mean, you could have some stuff like this with characters who you're like, yeah, they deserve to get it. But it can't be everyone on board. And it's like pretty much everyone on board. So I don't... not good writing is the point. Zaveri enters Mother, which... clip that sentence. She's there to tell Mother that she's taking command. And Mother's only concern is the status of the cargo. Top priority. Acknowledge. I like that. That was pretty badass, man. That was a very Mother moment. They shot this very well. So it's like, she goes in and she's there to just be like, hey, command has changed. And the second Mother has access to her, she's like, and the specimens? Acknowledge. So that was a cool Bueller moment between computer and man. Then it threatens to let Morrow take command if not acknowledged, which was it just kept going like, hey, acknowledge with those 1979 keyboard or else. Morrow in his quarters looking at family photos. Here's a scene we should have gotten at least in episode 2, if not the pilot. I mean, bro, this is your show. This is the show. This is what I was saying in initial thoughts. I can't understand why they don't just focus on this. The whole hybrid thing. I think the hybrid thing is cool, but you still keep him the heart of the show. It's him getting the specimens, that mission, mostly, maybe even split it 50-50. But I would say make him the A plot most of the time because holy crap. Like Morrow on the beach with his daughter, he's having these flashbacks to, points to the sky. This line right here is like, there, see that? I'm going there. When you miss me or you want to talk, just look up. I'll always be there looking back at you. I mean, that's writing. This is why Noah Hawley got the job. I'll always be there looking back at you. For the next 65 years, this is what this guy is giving. Like, I will never see you again. That is to his daughter. Anyway, he looks at his Wayuu contract of departing in 2065, which is pretty, you're like, oh man, 2060. And I do like that it's all analog here. Like, I think there should have maybe been some iPad-y type devices where he was looking at. I don't know, but maybe it's also supposed to say like this was 1979. Here, it's definitely not going to be more digital stuff. 65 and 2065. I don't know. You get my point. So this scene is also intercut with Raheem jettisoning the body, who Raheem continues to annoy while talking to this dead body. This character, badly written. On the bridge, and Raheem again was one of the surgeon people who was smoking before next to a face hugger and just casually talking about, he was talking about doing an incision, and then he makes the sound of an incision like he's an 11-year-old reciting. It's like, I made an incision. I'm like, did you just imitate yourself doing an incision? I love imitations, but so unnecessary. And you could tell too, they are like, oh, this is how real people talk. This is, Noah Hawley needs to speak to an IRL human being. He seems to kind of be in a bubble, I think you can tell from this. Anyway, and Fargo season 5. Hello. On the bridge, our engineers are reporting to Zaveri. Tang is on the bridge too, with this creepy click sound. Just like Wendy. He's going to get along great with Wendy. Oh, actually, he's dead, but would have gotten along great. Maybe, give Tang a hybrid body so those two can click back and forth. That is, God, actually, revoke all that. That's a terrible thing to say. But it's just, I just mean the clicking was stupid. Tang as a character, I don't know what they're trying to, okay. Yeah, so there's still perverts in the future. But they didn't make it mean anything. And again, his kill was barely satisfying. They should have, I think the Xeno should have been getting him in a way better way. That should have been like the kill of the episode. The guy we hate the most, clearly, how they didn't make the most of that kill is crazy to me. Anyway, the engineers say the saboteurs knew exactly how to take out the ship. So we know this is, we're like 150% sure there is a saboteur on board. Cryopod quarantine breach. And by the way, I don't mind the idea of like a space mystery. This is fun. Could be Morrow as detective. The world's greatest detective is my favorite character, as you can clearly. So I don't mind the galaxy's greatest cyborg detective. Go for it. This just could have been way better. So now we're in cryopod quarantine breach. Good to know the word quarantine has finally made it into a script of Alien Earth. I don't know if we've heard that word before, but once again, theme of this episode. Morrow, Zaveri, and Rahim go into the room, and the chest burster has bursted out of the cryopod. A surprise, guys. The Xeno Cobra got out. And unfortunately, Wendy's not there to click with it and pet it and be its friend, because it also has feelings. The Xenomorph has feelings, as we know. Like the fact that this is the same show, too. Sometimes you forget because this is a whole bottle episode. Halfway through, you're like, oh yeah, and we have to go literally back to Earth and watch that other bullshit. Ugh. It would have been amazing. Imagine if this was like an actually really good episode and it was like straight up alien on a spaceship. The show within the show that's good. The good show within a not good show. So Morrow, of course, wants to keep this quiet, which is pretty interesting because before he was like, all right, we need a ship-wide inquiry. And so you could tell this guy's thinking he's a cyborg. I love seeing who was probably very intelligent to begin with. And then we later learn, I mean, it's already in spoilers, he was a street kid, so he was probably very crafty. And if he stayed alive on the streets of Guyana begging with a palsied arm, he says. So all that stuff, he's a crafty guy. And the fact that he's now a cyborg, I love seeing him kind of think through these crises. Because, again, he's the only competent person. I was about to say human on board. Person/cyborg on board. Sentient on board. So he gives Zaveri the electric pistol. I love how that thing looks, too, with like the blue light on the front. And there's also a cool shot of like a bird's eye shot of him laying down in one of the episodes. And it's just, the camera's hovering above him and he's just got the blue glow. And I love that pistol. So now we're in the zoo, or the cafeteria. It's really whatever you want it to be on this show. Because this is, if I didn't say before, possibly the most painful part of the show. Just, they keep going, the painful parts. Eating a sandwich while opening an alien containment tank. Like, this character, Shibozu, I forget her name, sorry if I'm mispronouncing it, xenobiologist. The second they did this close-up of the bottle of water, I'm like, good, your fault. Like, do they not have rubber seals in 2120, either for your water, for the alien containment thing, that it's a metal thing that the alien could just that's not contained. I can tell that. I'm a freaking philosophy major podcaster. How did you not contain this thing? So the creepy crawly Spidey thing gets out of the tank. This is the thing we saw before that has like the spider web, drops down, goes under your neck. The blood-sucking creepy crawly Spidey thing, I call it. Now we see a new ability, which is shooting some black-colored sperm into her water, which, again, your fault. You're in high school. In high school science labs, you can't eat at the lab table. I'm pretty sure that's a rule. Like, you can't eat in the lab. You're dissecting a frog. You think they're going to let you have even food? Like, your 9th grade teacher would forbid this. This is insane. Oh, and then there's a line later that is supposedly explained this, which I didn't see in the first. Obviously, the first time watching this, I'm just like shocked throughout, just mouth agape. How is this happening? This episode, they actually tried to write it away, and it is incredible. I can't wait till we get to that. Holy crap. So Raheem walks in and he's like, "Oh, you must have left the top open." She's like, "I never leave the top open." I don't know if she did or not. I don't know what happened. Either way, this is all so sloppy because you're gonna defend yourself while chewing a sandwich, dude. And there's a scene she's chewing, takes a bite, then unscrews it while chewing, and like it handles this thing with like pliers or whatever. I mean, I am flabbergasted at this. Oh, sorry. I meant to have the mouse in a different spot so it doesn't hit the camera. I'll try to remember that next time. My bad for the video here. So Raheem and xenobiologist lady leave the zoo. Shockingly, an alien breakout. Shockingly, an alien breakout, guys. I couldn't believe with the amount of containment in this place. So eyeball octopus knocks over a tank, and here's a whole separate problem. It's like while she's chewing and doing all this shit with creepy crawly Spidey thing. They have the eyeball octopus Cthulhu thing, the sheep thing, in a jar that could shatter. These things can just shatter. Like, have they heard of plastic in 2120? I can't do this. It's so bad. Like, it's 18th century glass. I forgot I put that in my notes. Yeah, 18th century. I'm not even going to say 19th century. Mess hall. Zaveri gets no respect from the crew while telling them about the lockdown. Why would you respect this woman? Hey, look, if it was Ripley up there, all for it. Any woman in charge, if she's smart and competent and badass, take control of the ship. This woman is an idiot. I am in no way surprised that no one respects her. I don't want to hear trauma. She is horrible at her job. Horrible. And it's not even the sleeping with Bronsky thing. Look, people are human. They make mistakes. I didn't mind that kind of plot part too. That obviously makes things more interesting. It adds a problem to it and adds to the tension between Morrow and her of going like, oh, is she compromised? Like, even the audience is going like, how competent is she? That's not why I don't think she's competent. That's not why. She actually says this, okay? So we were talking before about Shibozu or the xenobiologist lady. This is why I eat in the lab. Because she apparently the whole time that she's chewing a sandwich while dealing with the creepy crawly spider thing was because she doesn't like the smoking. Like, she's like, oh, well, you guys always smoke in here, talking to Tang or whatever. I can't do it. I mean, God. And then one of them, so Zaveri's like, oh, there's a xenomorph on board. Or a xenomorph is loose. And again, none of them still seem like very alarmed by any of this. They're all kind of just chilling. It's badly directed too. Like, the dialogue is real weird. I whatever was written, and he wrote it, Noah Hawley, so I hate to say it, you both wrote and directed this, and it did not work. What's a xenomorph? The kid says. What's a xenomorph? I mean, maybe that information isn't available to him. I could maybe buy that. But then, here we go. Ready for this? It's just all these questions are like rapid fire. It's just, here we go, right? We're flying on fumes. Then the xenobiologist goes, what does that even mean? And then she says it after that. Like, the scene wraps up as everyone's leaving the room. I'm getting whiny now. That whiny sound in my voice. She says it again, and she goes, what the fuck does that even mean? Flying on fumes. What do you mean? What does it, you're a xeno. If I say the words, you're a xenobiologist again, I can't say it again. Oh, there's also a line. Ready for this? So first we have flying on fumes. What does that mean? What's a saboteur? That was a question. What's a saboteur? And that was special engineer, we'll call him. And then he also goes, she said duty. That made it onto an alien, a $250 million alien show. She said duty. Zaveri charges Malachite a 1/16th share. So finally something happened, I guess, with this idiot character. Morrow has to remind the crew. Doesn't he get a handicap though? Because he's a handicap. Morrow has to remind the crew 2 people are dead. Because again, they are just acting like no one's dead here. People dying is not a big deal to these people apparently. So Morrow has to, So Morrow reminds the crew, not Zaveri if I said that. And then he's like, look, we got to have a security interview process. And this is cool, offers incentive of a share. He's like, if you get any information, I'll make sure you get a share. That's pretty good for this alien world. Again, they give everything good to the character of Mara. So this is when she says it again. Running on fumes? The fuck does that even mean? Mara's security interviews begin. We begin with Raheem, who is just another, I hate to say it, if I didn't say it before, terrible character. Like, I don't know what Noah Hawley thinks he's doing with these characters. I think it's some of, like, all right, so if you go back and watch Alien 1, I remember a criticism I had of it. It was like last year when I rewatched it, and I have seen it recently too, but it's kind of the first time it hit me of going like, I can't really hear their dialogue. Like, there's parts of it where it's like almost deliberate. I heard they do this in Robert Altman movies where it's like indistinct dialogue almost. It's like, but it's in between indistinct. So it's not just what are called loop groups, when you sometimes they'll just have groups of people come in and talk, and you'll ADR that over people, or, you know, they record it right there in the room. But the point is, it's not like a low, whatever they call it, low roar, I think. It's between that. So it's like you're kind of hearing them, but not. So we kept like trying to like turn up. Alien is weird like that with dialogue, and I think it's supposed to be that real world feel again of like truckers in space. Like, you're kind of hearing what they're saying and their banter and stuff. It's just not overdone. And I think my point of all this is to say, I think Noah Hawley thinks that's what he's doing with some of these characters. Like, he's humanizing them in a way that does not work, and is like, oh, let's make it almost like the indistinct dialogue and just let them riff. I completely could see him on set. Someone just kept saying, let them riff, because these actors, it was just that whole scene in the mess hall. I think people are going to see what I mean here. It was like a really bad way of appropriating, which I hate that word, alien. It is applicable sometimes. Here's where it's very appropriate to say appropriation is this. It's crap. Back in engineering, there's a fun misdirect shot. So you think like a Xeno is descending with a shadow, but then it's just a hook, like a metal hook. So I thought that was fun. I like giving the show credit when I can. I like doing that. Keep note of me doing that. So Malachite throws up his guts. This is, it's gross. I feel bad on a human level. But then again, like, it's hard to care when he can't distinguish biology from geology. He doesn't know what the word saboteur is. He doesn't know what an apprentice is. He says that in one of, like, the security things coming up. So I'm an apprentice, and I don't... Yeah, I mentioned that before. Like, are you kidding me? So, back in the zoo. No alarms, by the way, if I didn't say this before, are going off every time an alien breaches containment. Like, every time something breaks out. This creepy crawly spidey thing. Even if there's a crack in one of those tanks, something. There's not like a whoop, whoop, whoop. All these alarms you have on the ship. The amount of times I have to watch spinning lights because you're ripping off alien visually. You can't do it when an alien breaches containment on an alien specimen transport ship. Cool, bro. Next up in the interviews, we have Tang the Creep. Morrow says he knows what he's been doing, and he's like, look, I know what you've been doing in these cryo rooms with the females on board. So if you can bypass the keypads, like, I need to know how you're doing that. And this is all, again, like, this is creepy shit, but which would have had the payoff so much better. This is an awful human being we're meeting and learning about here. And that alien kill would have been, and then, but the scene is useful because it's when Morrow learns someone else is awake. Cause he's like, well, point is he learns about the cryopods. Cause Tang is like, well, just because the computer says someone's not in their pod doesn't mean that's the case. And again, this is something, how does Morrow not put that together? He's a cyborg. Like, you could have just tapped into all this. And how is head count? I had this issue in a Superman the Animated Series commentary we did like 2 weeks ago on our Patreon. Check it out. But yeah, we've been doing like the exclusive commentaries for the summer of Superman. And it's like, there's an end of an episode where Superman doesn't take head count on a prison island, and that's how Metallo gets out, is my point. I'm like, this is how you're kicking this off, is that all Superman had to do is what I did when I was a middle school teacher in Washington, D.C. It's like, head count before you leave the museum. I don't understand what is hard about this. Anyway, sorry. Where am I? I lost my spot. Okay, we're back. Back on the security Disney ride. Malachite doesn't know what an apprentice is. This is where we get the line. I just... Cool, bro. Enough. I can't do it. I can't do another... We're done. You get my point. The sabotage is uncovered. It was Petrovich, the chief engineer, with incentive from Boy Cavalier. And this is another thing. It's like, okay, the storyline itself, in concept, Boy Cavalier giving some kind of incentive for this alien breakout thing. It also makes more sense, too, when we start to learn about the way he reacts to the rescue mission and all, not with the synths or the hybrids. That was ridiculous. But insofar as his interest in the aliens, you're like, okay, it was set up here. I didn't mind this. Also, interestingly, this is the one cast member I said before in the initial spoiler thoughts. Just a cool little detail of any show. It's like, oh, this is the one character that kind of carries over. I guess technically Utani, too, at the very end. But, so it was Petrovich, the chief engineer, with incentive from Boy Cavalier. But this is the part of the concept. When I say concept, broad strokes concept. But it's like, Petrovich wants a new body. That's the plan. Because he's like, well, what if I don't make it? Is he really saying if I don't make it, just make sure my dead body's put into a high... Like, somehow Boy Cavalier is going to bother doing that after this guy's dead? Does he really believe that he'll do that? I mean, there is the line where he's... This is just unclear and ridiculous, because he's like, I want a new body. In no way does Cavalier confirm that he can make that happen. It's such bad science fiction. I'm sorry. It just is. Noah Hawley is a great writer in some ways. I can't say this enough, but sci-fi, stop doing it. So now Morrow's on the prowl for Petrovich with a big-ass gun. And I do like seeing Morrow. Again, Morrow's by far the best part, but just him walking around with a gun, cool shit. In Medbay 1, Zaveri's like, where were you? Are these... first of all, are these space passengers, like, unable to communicate? Why is there ever a where were you on a spaceship? Like, they can't text? Then our special engineer is being scanned, because, again, he was puking his guts out before. He's got the creepy crawly sperm eggs inside his stomach, whatever those things, well, turn out to be ticks. Morrow, of course, is the only one skeptical about containment, because you have two doctors, one of whom has an open flask that he is drinking from, an alcohol flask, next to what is about to be an open chest cavity surgery. But before that, again, no masks, no containment, it is just crazy. Even no mask with the open chest surgery. Like, they put on gloves. I noticed that. I actually had to note that Xeno doctors put on gloves. Yay. Good job, guys. Like the Xeno. Good job, Xeno. It's okay. Be my pet. Everyone's included. Intercut with Tang getting Xeno'd. So all of this is getting intercut with, like, nothing. Such a nothing. Which, we got more of him getting killed in those flashes in the pilot. Which I think that was Noah Hawley's way of saying, like, okay, I'm going to have, like, this creep on board. But don't worry, he'll get killed. Why do we see more of him getting killed? More interesting shots, at least. All that happens, goo falls on his face, the thing roars, he screams. And weirdly, it's like, he's the one who screams. He would seem to be the one who would be like, interesting. Like, he'd be a total weirdo about it. This is just... Ugh, man. Then these tick things. So once again, now... The creepy crawly things with their black sperm eggs, whatever those things were. This guy drinks it, pukes his guts out, and now he has ticks on his lung. And all that, cool ideas. Those are cool. All that alien stuff I just described. This is where Raheem, again, is drinking out of a flask next to the alien tick chest cavity. I did love the abilities of this bug, like... As they were pulling it off, like this gas stuff comes out. Who wouldn't have killed them? There's my whiny voice. Wouldn't have killed them if they had masks on, but cool. I like the ability. Let's just try to give it that. Like, she's pulling it off, and then, psst. Oh. And this is where it's satisfying for the wrong reason. By myself, in my house watching this, going like, yeah. I nodded along. I'm pretty sure I said like out loud, I'm like, yeah. Not as satisfied as just going like, of course that happened. Really? Did you breathe in the xeno gas from the tick from the thing? You have no idea what this is. You have no idea what any of this is. And you are acting like, oh man, can't believe I'm breathing in alien gas. Zaveri, they're dead. They're all dead. Also some pretty bad, like I think Tim Burton could have done better CGI of these tick things crawling or stop motion. These ticks didn't look, all you had to do was bugs. Like they probably could have had real roaches and you do mocap on it. Like it just didn't look, that felt lazy to me. Then they learn that Tang has been taken out. I think it was Chlamydia who reports that. Morrow finally takes complete control of the ship, like effing finally. Relieving, Zaveri of duty. He's like, move your ass. I am taking control of this ship. Move your ass. Best line of the episode. Best line of the episode is Morrow finally telling these idiots, move your ass. I'm done with this. Because none of them have been moving their ass. Even moving their brains, moving anything. They're dumb. And I hate to say it, but in a world like this, believe it or not, if you're dumb, you're going to die. And they can't just, like, everyone's dumb. I don't understand how this many of the characters are this level of dumb. The Saboteur search continues into our final showdown. Again, some cool visuals here. Mara reminds Clydia to... excuse me. reminds Clem to use non-lethal rounds. Clem gets shot like right after that, which I'll give Noah Hawley this. He's good again with non-science fiction action. This felt Fargo-ish, right? It's like unexpected action. There's a lot of that in Fargo. Very real world feeling. It's like, you know, this is how to use the gun. All of a sudden a bullet goes through the guy. You're like, oh, didn't see that coming. So I like that. And of course, this was Petrovich. A nice shot too of Petrovich after this. So he shoots him twice as he's kind of dragging him. And of course, somehow this fight spills into the zoo. They keep the zoo open. Like, of all the rooms to contain, but containment does not matter, as it can't emphasize enough here. This was a cool shot. He drags him into the zoo. He's got him like perched up against this, I guess, support of the ship or something. And then out of nowhere, the back of his head, like with the camera angle, honestly, like that was very creative. I really want to give Noah Hawley props for that action shot. Like, I don't recall ever seeing something like that. It just felt very, very natural, very Fargo-esque. So props there. And then Morrow threw way too much steam and smoke, and there's also way too much steam. Like throughout this whole episode, they were just, the fog machines were on. Yeah, okay. The ship has a hole in it. Doesn't mean like random parts of it. Sure, 1970s. I keep like talking to myself like anyone's in this room, but I'm like, sure, no. The conversation that no one's having here is to say way too many effects, we'll call them, visually. Morrow knifes Petrovich from behind with his, with the arm thing is what I meant to say before. And I do love that, like the sound of it, the fact that he even has this. And then he's like, Petrovich is like, they want their monsters. Here they come. So, kind of cool, I guess. It would have been way cooler if, sure, there's someone on board like Ash was, who is the bad guy in Alien 1 who knows about this threat, unleashes them on the crew essentially. And whatever, you get my point. But like, I don't mind the idea of Boy Cavalier setting this up. It's just how it was set up makes no sense. So back at MedLab 1, Zaveri left the bridge. This is where it's like, okay. It seems, as I was watching it, maybe in my notes I should have rewritten this, because it's like, maybe she was on her way. Either way, she stopped again at MedLab 1 to do the funeral powder stuff, which we already got, and I already complimented. I was like, oh, it's cool. And now my voice is getting whiny again. We already saw this. Deep breaths, Benjamin. We already saw this. I don't need to see her do it again. And if she does do it again, the theme, move your ass. She could have, done it very quickly on her way to the bridge. The fact that she pauses, because right here, this is why she gets exposed to the Xeno. This is why she gets the Xeno attack that we saw before. Maybe it could have happened before or after that. Like, they're a freaking xenomorph. But just so much of this would not have happened in this way. It's how it happens is the point. The journey, guys. It's the journey. The space journey that counts. I also didn't love the Xeno chase. I'm not going to lie. Like, I didn't hate it. But it's just kind of like the effects with the spinning shit. Spinning lights. The steam. Too much camera movement. Like... it was way too Sam Raimi, I thought. And Alien does play around with that a little bit, but not to this degree. Like, stop it. This Xeno also felt way too like guy in a suit. I hated how it bobbed its head around and how it walked. It felt too anthropomorphic, in my opinion. On the bridge, Shmuel's been compromised. Shmuel is the older, the not special engineer, has been compromised by the eyeball Octo. So now, this is kind of interesting. She doesn't know he's infected because his back is to the door. So she seals herself in. And then he turns around and he's eyeballed. And she's like, oh. Also a nice camera / action shot of Morrow coming into action in the same hallway shot that the Xeno left action. So the Xeno runs up to the door as she's sealing it. So she's sandwiched in. She doesn't know that. But again, she's sealing herself in, and then Morrow just enters shot. And that was, I thought, good direction too. Like, that's good action. Kind of a tracking, the theme of tracking. I don't know exactly what you call it. But anyway, Morrow enters. Morrow also enters the bridge. And the eyeball guy apparently called for the Xeno. So eyeball Octo, we learn whatever sound it made. It was a different sound from the from our frickin' Xeno Cobra, thank God. But I guess the theme of this is they're all gonna talk. They're all gonna hold hands, guys. It's gonna be Wendy, hybrid and human and synth, all married together with Xeno and eyeball Octo. And then they're gonna have tea with the tick gas emitting frickin' creepy crawly spider thing. They're all gonna just have lunch. Why does also no one get cut by the tail in this show? Like, I know right after this, what's his name gets speared by it. So it seems like the end of it, they acknowledge, is hyper deadly and sharp and will go right through anything. But the tail is described in the novels as a circular saw on a metal whip, right? So it's like, if that thing, it doesn't just sweep you. Point is, it was knocking her over in parts. I keep whining. I'm catching myself. It doesn't just knock you over. She gets knocked over. It would do such worse things. Imagine a circular saw whip. That different things are going to happen to you. We enter Mother again, which, clip that. Scene we saw from the pilot of Zavaria getting taken out by the Xeno. And they're just, right here, it's like, we literally got this in the pilot. There should have been more, like, meanwhile shots. I know there were some, but, like, just not enough. I do, however, really like that we now know the song he was humming from the pilot. So when he's coldly just letting her die in the hallway, when he's humming, I was hoping when I was watching, I was like, ooh, I hope we learn what that was. Because with a show, I expected some time jump shit. So I was like, yes, very cool. And it was the song that was playing as he was remembering his daughter. And that was like, I'm not going to say it's an if you don't cry moment, but this is the show. This is the episode. This is the whole show. This is Alien Earth right here. Is the dissonance of the music, the emotion of his daughter. Whenever, that's where I'll be. 65 years, the sacrifice of the cyborg. It shouldn't be in space. No one can ellipses. It's in space, the sacrifice of the cyborg. So good. And a pretty great ending, I'll say, to an otherwise crap episode of Alien Earth. Then we get this epilogue time jump. And again, of course, I mean, if you didn't follow the action there, very quick recap. He jettisons out of the, as the alien xenomorph gets into the mother room, it is unable to get him, and he's able to, of course, jettison out. And but as that's happening with the gas mask, again, the whole idea of And the idea of him just returning to Earth as he's remembering his daughter on Earth is amazing. So then we get this epilogue time jump to the present, and it's on a Weiyu skyscraper Japanese garden thing, which is, I thought, visually pretty interesting. And then we get, this is where we learn, he's like, she took me in, a feral boy with a palsied arm, begging in the street. You know, this is where some of the dialogue could be less heavy-handed, but that's fine. But, you know, it's a cool story. Especially economically, right? That's such a Weyland-Yutani thing. She's like, oh, he's begging. I can exploit this and give him a cyborg arm. But here's the deal. You got to go get some aliens and then kill a bunch of humans on your way back to Earth. Does that... Oh, and give up your family. It's a lot. It's a lot to process, but very interesting stuff. And then he's like, I'll kill the one called Cavalier. And she goes, I think I'm going to use my lawyers. He goes, unless lawyers mean soldiers, we're going to have to do this my way. So this is where we get the footage of the raid that we saw. In fact, it's in one of my videos because I was like, why was there not a raid on Neverland? And of course I acknowledged it while I was making the video. This is where we're going to get said raid. The raid should have, instead of audio, what is it? The audio FaceTime between him and Arush, him and Toodles or whatever his name is. God, what was his name? Slightly. Instead of that, there should have been the raid first, but this is where we're going to get our raid, and I am very much looking forward to Alien v Cyborg v Synth v Hybrid. Holy crap, that has some potential. Alien v Blade Runner. And then a Predator is going to swing in, and maybe that would be less ridiculous than what we just talked about. So some final thoughts and recommends. I mean, dare I even recap? I think you guys, after having to sit through all that, it'd just be Ben repeating himself. The point is, it's Morrow's episode by 1,000. Like, it's just amazing that something that good could be among Diamond in the Rough. Is that the right term for it? It's like, just the black sheep. It's so the black sheep of episodes among also other episodes that are not great. Maybe in terms of ranking, I don't know what to say. Besides, I don't recommend it, obviously, but I do. The Morrow stuff, when you rewatch it, keep in mind great payoffs with that. I think he clearly not just the most competent, but to have the actor and to be in a show that's constantly questioning what is the difference between human and cyborg, or human and synth, and all this, the hybrid idea, to take it back to again a cyborg, I think is so good. But God, like, this sci-fi is so sloppy. Like, again, last episode was the sci-fi sloppy Blade Runner sci-fi. This is sloppy alien sci-fi. So don't recommend it. I would recommend maybe checking out the show first couple episodes, and now we're more than halfway through. So I could say this. Ready? Last 3 episodes could be a banger, but I don't understand. My beef, though, or my skepticism is like, the rules that you set up, there are no rules. Like, everyone just gets to play. It's like the participation trophy alien. Xeno Cobra from last episode. If that thing gets to be a pet, if there's no quarantine on an alien ship, blah, 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 all the hybrid problems I had, that how not, a lot of the hybrids don't know simple things too. They're supposed to be hyper intelligent and they're not. All these idiots are going to be coming together. I mean, I guess all the idiots died. Any of the idiots didn't survive the ship, Nostromo style, except for well, again, he's not an idiot, Morrow. So him being the only survivor, I guess that works. There's no more human idiots for them to interact with, but less idiots for the next few episodes. How incredible would it be if, like, the next 3 episodes were just total bangers? And I do want to see Kirsch go to town the next couple episodes. They have some Kirsch. The next episode really should be Kirsch's episode. That's what they need to do. Because this was pretty good with, like, giving, if I can say it's good, giving Morrow an episode, give Kirsch an episode, because he's just obviously way better than the rest of what is going on around him. So, Kirsch v. Morrow, bring it. And that is the show. If you haven't already, smash that like button, hit subscribe, turn on notifications for future streams of Too Many Shows, subscribe and follow the pod. Again, that's Too Many Shows, a TV podcast. Any kind of super donation here on the channel or any of our videos is much appreciated. And finally, if you want to support us on all the other shows on our network, And head on over to Patreon. That's patreon.com/BatmanBeyondMedia. Early access to podcasts and vids, exclusive pods and vids you can only find there. Detailed episode notes for each podcast. It was like 15 pages of bullet point for this episode, excuse me. So a lot of stuff there on our Patreon. Again, that's patreon.com/BatmanBeyondMedia. And of course, the link is posted below. So this has been Benjamin reminding you to watch your shows.